The Epic of Gilgamesh. A continuation. This will be good. This will be good. Why is that not? It's always something, man. There we go. Maybe. Maybe, baby. Gunman attacks Seventh-day Adventist school in California. 2 boys critical yet stable. That's sad. Nope. There we go. What? Dueling rallies demonstrate outside Supreme Court amid... Oh, jeez. Florida County denies plans to halt building of new churches. Denied that they are considering a moratorium on the construction of churches in the area. What? Pastor fighting to keep realtor license after complaints about biblical social media posts? What is happening? Lord help us, Tampa. What's going on? American hostage. Oh, I don't want to read that. Oh, never mind. Sad stuff, sad stuff, sad stuff, sad stuff, sad stuff. Parents group wants accountability after principal says, don't want to read that either. God, nothing is safe for the YouTube anymore. Pastora. I feel like you haven't been around. It's been weird, to say the least. I hope you've been doing good things. And I know you've been around. But I just feel like there hasn't been as much emoji magic. That was hard to say. As much emoji magic. It's a good tongue twister. They need to teach that to children. 5 revelations from House COVID-19 report. It's a lot of wild stuff in the news right now. It's all very sad stuff. It's not great. It's not great. Love you, Pia. Glad you're here. As always, glad you're here. You're so sweet. See, that's better. That's better. That's the emoji magic. It's just a great way to start these off, you know? The blasting of the emojis is like an emotional hit. It's very nice. It's very nice. I'm having allergies or something. Hawaii must allow Good News Club at every public school. That should be allowed, right? Aren't they doing Satan groups at public schools now? I feel like the least they could do is allow a Good News Club. The National Christian Youth Organization has secured the right to hold meetings on every public school campus in Hawaii as the decades-long fight to ensure equal access to school facilities for faith-based group continues. Oh, look, it's Kat. Genesis and I will be popping in. That would have been confusing on Sunday. That sentence would have been. Oh, that's why. Lovely. What time is it? We got a few minutes. We're in the Epic of Gilgamesh, in case you forgot, on page 15. And we're like halfway through, and then we'll go back to the Book of Giants. I'm excited for that. Oh. And let me see. Is Genesis the new baby girl's name? No, but I kind of want it to be. We have a lizard named Genesis, but I kind of want to name the baby Genesis. I kind of do. And Kat's not about it. Because of the lizard, to be clear. not because she's oppressing my wants and my needs. Graves, are you with client at work? Or are you driving home? I feel like you're always doing one of those two things. You're either chilling with a client or you are driving home. Am I wrong? No? Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. Mom sues Mattel after Wicked Doll exposes child to Corn on the Cob site. Alleges emotional distress. I remember that. This was a few weeks ago. This was wild. The toy company misprinted on accident, misprinted the website. Kat had told me about this, and then I heard some people talk about it. But they misprinted the website for the Wicked Dolls, and it sent them to a Corn on the Cob website that is highly inappropriate. And some children went to this website, caused a whole rigmarole, a whole catastrophe. I'm at home now and off Friday. Good for you. That sounds lovely. My youngest daughter is named Genesis. For real? See, that's what I wanted to do. That's what I wanted to do. Convince Cat. Convince Cat. Cat, see? Good name. Good name. I wish I could say hello more coolly, but this is the best I can do. Hello, my Bible Church family. I love each one of you. David K. We love you, David. And for some reason, I read a curse word in there in my head, and you didn't write a curse word. It just happened to appear, and I have no idea why. But the B word, Bible, it read in my head as the other B word. I can tell this is going to be a rough night already. I don't have good feelings about my ability to intake information this evening. But I guess we'll see. That's why this is so fun, other than I feel like I'm having allergy attacks. Trisha, I agree with your vote, by the way, if that wasn't clear. But I think they already left. I believe, from what I did done see in the front door. Yeah, they both left. One at 11 a.m. and one at 4:46 p.m. to be exact. So I think we are all good for having to deal with that even. Yeah, I seen that they left, yeah. I wasn't sure though, because all their stuff still shows up. I guess I've never just paid attention. I guess everything stays. I wasn't sure if Discord like purges the data or not, but it seems as though they do not. Cat is so funny to think about my name. JC Lovechild, but Genesis would be rad. I'd call her Jeannie. Like the classic I Dream of Jeannie. Is it Jeannie or Jenny? I feel like that would be Jeannie, right? You have ESP. I have ESP tonight, I suppose. So God knows what's going to come out of my mouth when we start reading. Lord help us all, not just Tampa. Lord help us all. JC is cute. It is cute. JC Genesis. That's actually not a bad idea. It's a pretty good idea. Actually, this will be taken under advisement because we're having a very hard time. But I want to get the name nailed down. You know what I mean? I want like some custom stuff made. I want to be able to call the baby by name. I don't like this middle ground of no name baby. It's not for me. I like black and white. This is why what we do here drives me banana sandwich. Genesis is a great band too. That's true, actually. Yeah, good point. Good point. All roads are leading to Genesis right now. But then now I feel like we're stealing Lord Help Us Tampa's name. We're copycatting her firstborn child. I'm going to do a Discord poll once I round up our favorites. I was looking at classic cars last night. She was looking through names and models of cars to use for a name because she's a car freak, for anybody who does not know. Holly is cool, as in Holly Carburetor. There were some fun names in there, though. I'm going to start slowly getting us in here. So we left off, excuse me, we left off at halfway through 15. So we're picking back up at Humbaba. Humbaba and his coming out from the strong house of cedar. And I think we might finish tonight. If not, we'll have one more week. Tina? Who's Tina? Tina, who are you? Glad to have you, though, Tina. Are you in Discord? Or are you a random wanderer of the YouTube algorithm? We're about to start reading. Fun stuff. If you're a total geek. Fun stuff. Video could not find your what? Random kinda. What is the kind of? I feel like that requires an explanation. That's not fair to just drop that. Since you're random kind of, I'm going to assume you're kind of not in Discord. So there's a link to Discord at the top of the live chat and in the description of the video. That's where we all hang out. That's right here. So this is a good time to do this too. If you're watching this later and not live, we have Discord. Linked top of the live chat, also in the description of the video. Ever growing and ever interesting, to say the least, as of recent events. But we talk about theology of the Bible, conspiracies, the news, science, spirituality in general, and then entertainment and family and fun and self-growth and all this fun stuff. We also have these live streams that we do 3 times a week. So where you can come on and talk like with your voice. But if you come to Discord, go to the events, you'll see there's always 3 events here. Right now is the live Bible study Apocrypha, which is kind of doubling as just anything extra canonical that is not in the normal Bible that we read. So from the Apocrypha to like tonight, we're reading the Epic of Gilgamesh, which is a Mesopotamian text, but highly correlates in importance to a lot of the Old Testament. So we're reading that for general context and knowledge because we like reading weird stuff that other people don't. And then Sunday we do a live Bible study from the canon. So your normal Bible stuff where everything is broken down in great obnoxious depth because again, we're weird and we like to do that. And then Tuesday is a live topic discussion that everybody votes on. So I'm probably going to post the poll tonight for next Tuesday. Yesterday, 2 days ago, we talked about the Trinity. Whatever gets voted in is what we talk about. And I put together a little slideshow and it's just a big open family conversation. That's a lot of fun and good stuff. We also, all these streams, you can come on and talk. So once you've been in Discord for a while, we've gotten to know you a little bit. You can join these voice channels. And then anytime that you so please, you can rudely cut me off and we can chat about something that we're reading about. Because we believe in everybody being able to rudely cut me off. Because that's what church is. That's what church should be, I guess I should say. I love Irving Finkel stuff. I must have missed something. I did. Okay. I gotta go be a tamed house cat. That is you. That is you. All right. Anyways, right now we're in the Epic of Gilgamesh. We started this last week. We read roughly 15 pages. And we're just going to pick back up. So if you missed last week and you care enough, go back and watch it. Otherwise, read it yourself. There's a link to this in Discord where we're reading it from. So there is in the Bible study section, you can go to Bible study, find the Epic of Gilgamesh, and then there is a link to the PDF right there. Good stuff. Fun stuff. I'm atheist. Sorry, not into Discord. Totally understand. Don't blame you. Glad you're here, though. You'll probably find that we are... What did we decide on Tuesday that we are? We're all heretics. Was that... No, we used a different word, didn't we? Weren't we calling something else? Was it heretics? It was heretics. We're all heresy. We all believe heresy to some degree. You might like us because Christians, for the most part, probably don't like us very much. There was a lot of heretical talk. Yeah, there was. We were the heretics. It's like a badge of honor, to be completely honest with you. All right, Humbaba. Good old Humbaba came out of his strong house of cedar. Then Enkidu called out, O Gilgamesh, remember now your boast in Uruk. Forward attack, son of Uruk. There is nothing to fear. When he heard these words, his courage rallied. He answered, make haste, close in. If the watchman is there, do not let him escape to the woods where he will vanish. He has put on the first of his 7 splendorous, but not yet splendors, but not yet the other 6. Let us trap him before he is armed. Like a raging wild bull, he snuffed the ground. The watchman of the woods turned full of threatenings. He cried out. Humbaba came from his strong house of cedar. He nodded his head and shook it, menacing Gilgamesh. And on him he fastened his eyes. Single eye, fastened his eye, the eye of death. Then Gilgamesh called to Shamash, and his tears were flowing. O glorious Shamash, I have followed the road you commanded, but now if you send no succor, how shall I escape? Glorious Shamash heard his prayer, and he summoned the great wind, the north wind, the whirlwind, the storm and the icy wind, the tempest and the scorching wind. They came like dragons, like a scorching fire, like a serpent that freezes the ground, a destroying flood, and the lightning's fork. It's a lot of kind of winds. I would wonder, numerologically, I wonder if there's any significance to that. Mikkel and Ghost would definitely know more than me. How many did we have? I guess technically 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5. For numerology people, which is not me. The 8 wins. How is there 8, baby girl? Where do we get that number from? Right as I do all the counting, then they decide to throw a number that I'm not about. We had 5. Like a scorching fire. Those are descriptive words. They're not types of wind. All right, I'm not going
Hey,
down.
Ghost, hey, Ghost. I'm looking at my name. Hey, Joe.
Yes, sir.
Do you think those winds are all the same wind? Or
I don't.
what is wind?
I don't. That's what I'm kind of like getting stuck on right now. I'm not sure. But no.
Because wind means spirit, I guess, kind of like in the Old Testament.
Right, the Hebrew. I don't think they're all one, personally. But I'm not sure. I don't know. I don't have a good theory.
I have no idea.
What I'm now cranky about, though, is that I count 5, and they're saying the 8 winds rose up against Humbaba. So it makes me wonder if they're counting like a dragon, that would be 6, scorching fire 7, and like a serpent would be 8. But this got me a little bit turned around. I'm gonna
honestly, I don't think the number is really important. I think whatever these winds are is more important. Whatever they represent.
You don't think there's any significance to the number?
I mean, there could be, but I don't like at first glance. I don't think so. I understand 4 winds because I've always thought the 4 winds are like the 4 forces in physics, but I don't know.
Okay, yeah, that's a good point.
Can you reread that sentence?
Yes, and I also just threw it in Discord under the book of... Oh, I just put it in the wrong place. I'm gonna throw it in Discord under the Epic of Gilgamesh, because I want to look into this later, so it's going to be kind of a note to myself. But yeah, I'll read it right now. So from the beginning, you find a good place. So then Gilgamesh called to Shamash, and his tears were flowing. O glorious Shamash, I have followed the road you commanded, but now if you send no succor, how shall I escape? Glorious Shamash heard his prayer, and he summoned the great wind, the north wind, the whirlwind, the storm and the icy wind, the tempest and the scorching wind. They came like dragons, like a scorching fire, like a serpent that freezes the heart, a destroying flood, and the lightning's fork. And then it says the 8 winds rose up against Humbaba, which means they're counting like a dragon as a type of wind, or one of these winds, one of these spirits, possibly. Like a scorching fire as another, and then like a serpent that freezes the heart as the 8th. Oh, did you?
I mean, Shamash is a sun god, and the sun sends solar wind, so maybe there's a connection. But like, they're not going to be seeing it that way. But I think there's a reason they're writing it the way they are, and there's a reason that it's Shamash and not like someone else.
I agree. I didn't think about that connection though. Here, I found something. Let's see. It referenced 13 wins. Oh, come on. It was there a second ago. The god Shamash sends 13 winds to blind Humbaba and he is captured. Humbaba pleads for his life, and Gilgamesh pities him. So this is later. We're not there yet. So maybe we hang tight. However, the four winds, pseudo-deities, the Mesopotamian pseudo-deities, the four winds, are a group of mythical figures in Mesopotamian mythology whose names and functions correspond to four cardinal directions of wind. They were both cardinal concepts used for mapping and understanding geographical features in relation to each other, as well as characters with personality who could serve as antagonistic forces or helpful assistants in myths. I'll put this in Discord too. I'm not sure if this directly relates, but it's good context, if nothing else. Hey, Ruth. But apparently the four winds is an established thing in Mesopotamian literature that I certainly do not remember. The regular wind, the mountain wind, the cloud wind, and the Amorite wind. Each one was geographically correlated. So the regular wind was northwest, the mountain wind was northeast, the cloud wind was southeast, and the Amorite wind was southwest. The wind directions could be used to establish the presence of astrological bodies, orient maps, and direct the layout of cities and home construction, keeping buildings open to wind blowing in and alleviating the heat. These winds, aside from being used for cardinality, were also figures important to mythology and general culture in Mesopotamia. So maybe there's even more to it. But the sun theory is interesting. The solar winds. Okay.
Yeah, whenever I hear wind, I always think of something like that. Or influence. You can use influence to replace wind.
Why do you say that?
Apparently there's 8 winds in Buddhism too.
Yeah, wind is big in Buddhism for sure. What do you say?
I say influence because that's, I mean, in my spirit definition, influence is part of it. I couldn't get into all the details right now because I don't want to bog this podcast down, but like, you know.
Okay. Oh.
Because at its core, wind influences. Wind is an invisible thing that can influence, and spirits are invisible things that can influence. Therefore, they share attributes, so they fit into the same category.
Yeah, that's interesting, actually, for sure.
I can't help but see things in categories. It's just how I think.
Well, I think it's healthy because I think that's how a lot of things function.
Yeah, function would be part of it, definitely. Like, what does the thing do? And if it shares that if it shares that attribute with something else, then they fit in the same category.
Right. No, I think that's
they can be used interchangeably when speaking about something with metaphors.
Right. No, I really like that. That's really interesting. Yeah. Wind is definitely an influential thing. And the relation to spirit is that's something for sure. Now I'm reeling.
The spirit has to have an invisible aspect to it. Otherwise, it's not a spirit.
Yeah, I mean, there's a number of relations there. As I'm sure you know, but it's one of those things I've never really thought that much about. But yeah, each one has a number of characteristics that kind of align with the other. It definitely makes sense.
Yeah, that's why I think these are either some kind of decree from some type of being, or distractions or influences for a given purpose. I don't know what the end is because it's been like a million years since I've read this, but
yeah,
who knows?
Yeah, well, we'll see. Now that's going to be at the top of my mind. Because there's definitely more. There's more wind, and now I'm glad you said all that. Yeah, that adds a really good perspective. Because I know we get more into it as we get towards the end. The 14 winds.
One quick example, like an icy wind, would be like when someone tells you something that sends chills down your spine. You could call that an icy wind or a cold spirit or whatever. But it's just words that makes you feel a certain way.
Right.
And a whirlwind be like when you're when a lot's going on in your life or something.
It could be like someone telling you something that turns your whole world upside down or changes the way you believe about something or
Yeah,
makes you feel chaotic.
right. Disorienting. Yeah. Huh. Hmm. Yeah, because you had the great
Anyways,
wind,
just a thought.
No, it's a good thought. Great wind, north wind, whirlwind, icy wind, tempest, and scorching wind. Came like dragons. This is gonna bug the hell out of me, but they're counting all these too. Came like dragons, like scorching fire, like serpent that freezes the heart. Which kind of, I mean, they're descriptions of the types of wind, though. Scorching, we had tempest and scorching, and then freezes the heart. You had the storm and the icy wind.
What do we say when someone does a good roast on someone? We say burn.
Burned, yeah.
It's just words.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see when we get to the next references. I'm glad you pointed all that out. There's such is icy wind going outside right now. It's cold. There's like 20 something here today. And I'm outside half the day. It's cold, man. Okay. So the 8 winds rose up against Humbaba. They beat against his eyes. He was gripped, unable to go forward or back. Gilgamesh shouted, "By the life of Ninsun, my mother, and divine Lugulbanda, my father, Lugulbanda, in the country of the living, in this land I have discovered your dwelling. My weak arms and my small weapons I have brought to this land against you, and now I will enter your house." Burned crispy. So he felled the first cedar, and they cut the branches and laid them at the foot of the mountain. At the first stroke, Humbaba blazed out, but still they advanced. They felled 7 cedars and cut and bound the branches and laid them at the foot of the mountain. And 7 times Humbaba loosed his glory on them. As the 7th blaze died out, they reached his lair. He slapped his thigh in scorn. He approached like a noble wild bull roped on the mountain, a warrior whose elbows are bound together. The tears started to his eyes, and he was pale. "Gilgamesh, let me speak. I have never known a mother, no, nor a father who reared me. I was born of the mountain. He reared me, and Enlil made me the keeper of this forest. Let me go free, Gilgamesh, and I will be your servant. You shall be my lord. All the trees of the forest that I tended on the mountain shall be yours. I will cut them down and build you a palace." He took him by the hand and led him to his house, so that the heart of Gilgamesh was moved with compassion. He swore by the heavenly life, by the earthly life, by the underworld itself. "O Enkidu, should not the snared bird return to its nest and the captive man return to his mother's arms?" Enkidu answered, "The strongest of men will fall to fate if he has no judgment. Namtar, the evil fate that knows no distinction between men, will devour him. If the snared bird returns to its nest, if the captive man returns to his mother's arms, then you, my friend, will never return to the city where the mother is waiting who gave you birth. He will bar the mountain road against you and make the pathways impossible." Humbaba said, "Enkidu, what you have spoken is evil. You, a hireling, dependent for your bread. In envy and for fear of rival, you have spoken evil words." Enkidu said, "Do not listen, Gilgamesh. This Humbaba must die. Kill Humbaba first and his servants after." But Gilgamesh said, "If we touch him, the blaze and the glory of light will be put out in confusion. The glory and glamour will vanish. Its rays will be quenched." Enkidu said to Gilgamesh, "Not so, my friend. First entrap the bird, and where shall the chicks run then? Afterward, we can search out the glory and the glamour when the chicks run distracted through the grass." A lot of imagery there. Gilgamesh listened to the word of his companion. He took the axe in his hand, he drew the sword from his belt, and he struck Humbaba with a thrust of the sword to the neck. And Enkidu, his comrade, struck the second blow. At the third blow, Humbaba fell. Then there followed confusion, for this was the guardian of the forest whom they had felled to the ground. For as far as 2 leagues of cedars shivered when Enkidu felled the watchers of the forest, he at whose voice Hermon and Lebanon used to tremble. Now the mountains were moved and all the hills, for the guardian of the forest was killed. They attacked the cedars. The seven splendors of Humbaba were extinguished. The seven splendors. So they pressed on into the forest, bearing the sword of 8 talents. They uncovered the sacred dwelling of the Anunnaki. And while Gilgamesh felled the first of the trees of the forest, and Enkidu cleared their roots as far as the banks of Euphrates. They set Humbaba before the gods, before Enlil. They kissed the ground and dropped their shroud, and set the head before him. When he saw the head of Humbaba, Enlil raged at them. Why did you do this thing? From henceforth, may the fire be on your faces. May it eat the bread that you eat. May it drink where you drink. Then Enlil took again the blaze and the 7 splendors that had been Humbaba's. He gave the first to the river. He gave to the lion, to the stone of excretion, to the mountain, and to the dreaded daughter of the queen of hell. O Gilgamesh, king and conqueror of the dreadful blaze, wild bull who plunders the mountain, who crosses the sea, glory to him. And from the brave, the greater glory is Enki's. Ishtar and Gilgamesh and the death of Enkidu. Gilgamesh washed out his long locks and cleaned his weapons. He flung back his hair from his shoulders. He threw off his stained clothes and changed them for new. He put on his royal robes and made them fast. When Gilgamesh had put on the crown, glorious Ishtar lifted her eyes, seeing the beauty of Gilgamesh. She said, "Come to me, Gilgamesh, and be my bridegroom. Grant me seed of your body. Let me be your bride, and you shall be my husband. I will harness for you a chariot of lapis lazuli and of gold, with wheels of gold and horns of copper, and you shall have mighty demons of the storm for draft mules. When you enter our house in the fragrance of cedar wood, threshold and throne will kiss your feet. Kings, rulers, and princes will bow down before you. They shall bring you tribute from the mountains and the plain. Your ewes shall drop twins, and your goats triplets. Your pack ass shall outrun mules." I'm a child. Reading pack ass just made me chuckle in my head. "Your pack ass shall outrun mules. Your oxen shall have no rivals, and your chariot horses shall be famous far off for their swiftness." Sounds like mechanical technological metaphors to me. It sounded like a few things. Yeah. And I, for whatever reason, and I'm not this guy, a lot of the numbers keep shouting to me. There's a lot of repetition in the numbers. But it could definitely be a coincidence. But I'm going to look later, because for whatever reason, I'm curious with this text. Gilgamesh opened his mouth and answered, "Glorious Ishtar, if I take you in marriage, what gifts can I give in return? With ointments and clothing for your body, I would gladly give you bread and all sorts of food fit for a god. I would give you wine to drink fit for a queen. I would pour out barley to stuff your granary. But as for making you my wife, that I will not. How would it go with me? Your lovers have found you like a brazier, which smolders in the cold. A back door which keeps out neither squall of wind nor storm. Dang. A castle which crushes the garrison. Pitch that blackens the bearer. A waterskin that shafts the carrier. A stone which falls from the parapet. A battering ram turned from the enemy. A sandal that trips the wearer. Dang. Which of your lovers did you ever love forever? Which of your lovers did you ever love forever? That's quite the sentence. What shepherd of yours has pleased you for all time? Listen to me while I tell the tale of your lovers. There was Tammuz, the lover of your youth. For him you decreed wailing year after year. You loved the many-colored roller, but still you struck and broke his wing. Now in the grove he sits and cries, "Copy, copy, my wing, my wing." You have loved the lion, tremendous in strength. 7 pits you dug for him, and 7. And you have loved the stallion, magnificent in battle. And for him you have decreed whip and spur and a thong, to gallop 7 leagues by force, and to muddy the water before he drinks. And for his mother, Silila, lamentations. You have loved the shepherd of the flock. He made meal cake for you day after day. He killed, I don't want to say that. He made no longer living children for your sake. You struck and turned him into a wolf. Now his own herd boys chase him away. His own hounds worry his flanks. And did you not love Ishulana, the gardener of your father's palm grove? He brought you baskets filled with dates without end. Every day he loaded your table. Then you turned your eyes on him and said, Dearest Ishulana, come here to me. Let us enjoy your manhood. Come forward and take me. I am yours. Ishulana answered, What are you asking from me? My mother has baked and I have eaten. Why should I come to such as you for food that is tainted and rotten? This is rough. For when a screen of rushes sufficient protection, sufficient protection from frosts? But when you had heard his answer, you struck him. He was changed to a blind mole deep in the earth, one whose desire is always beyond his reach. And if you and I should be lovers, should not I be served in the same fashion as all these others whom you love? Damn. Gilgamesh was the top G. That's wild. What a response to like, hey, baby, let's get married. He's like, I'm just going to blast you repeatedly with what a terrible, terrible person you are, and let you know why we will not be married. Brutal. Brutal. When Ishtar heard this, she fell into a bitter rage. Shocking, considering her history. She went up to high heaven. Her tears poured down in front of her father Anu and Antum, her mother. She said, My father, Gilgamesh, has heaped insults on me. He has told over all my abominable behaviors, my foul and hideous acts. Anu opened his mouth and said, Are you a father of gods? Do not you quarrel with Gilgamesh the king? So now he has related your abominable behavior, your foul and hideous acts. Ishtar opened her mouth and said, My father, give me the bull of heaven to destroy Gilgamesh. Fill Gilgamesh, I say, with arrogance to his destruction. But if you refuse to give me the bull of heaven, I will break in the doors of hell and smash the bolts. There will be confusion of people those above with those from the lower depths. I shall bring up the dead to eat food like the living, and the hosts of dead will outnumber the living. Anu said to great Ishtar, If I do what you desire, there will be 7 years of drought throughout Uruk, when corn will be seedless husks. Have you saved grain enough for the people and grass for the cattle? Ishtar replied, I have saved grain for the people, grass for the cattle. For 7 years of seedless husks, there is grain and there is grass enough. So she's like, no problem. No problem. Willing to pay the price. When Anu heard that Ishtar had said he gave her the bull of heaven to lead, when Anu heard that Ishtar said she had gave her the bull of heaven to lead by the halter down to Uruk, this is a weird sentence. When they reached the gates of Uruk, the bull went to the river. With his first snort cracks open in the earth, and 100 young men fell down to death. When his second snort cracks. This is so weird. When his second snort cracks opened, the 200 fell down to death. With his third snort cracks open, Enkidu doubled over but instantly recovered. He dodged aside and leapt on the bull and seized it by the horns. The bull of heaven foamed in his face. It brushed him with the thick of its tail. Enkidu cried to Gilgamesh, My friend, we boasted that we would leave enduring names behind us. Now thrust in your sword between the nape and the horns. So Gilgamesh followed the bull. He seized the thick of its tail. He thrust the sword between the nape and the horns and slew the bull. When they had killed the bull of heaven, they cut out its heart and gave it to Shamash. And the brothers rested. But Ishtar rose tip and mounted the great wall of Uruk. She sprang onto the tower and uttered a curse. Woe to Gilgamesh, for he has scorned me in killing the bull of heaven. When Enkidu heard these words, he tore out the bull's right thigh and tossed it in her face, saying, if I could lay my hands on you, it is this I should do. To lash the entrails to your side. Wild. Then Ishtar called together her people, the dancing and the singing girls, the prostitutes of the temple, the courtesans, the courtesans. Over the thigh of the bull of heaven, she set up lamentations. But Gilgamesh called the smiths and the armorers, all of them together. They admired the immensity of the horns. Joshua says based. Joshua, where are you from? Did you wander in here tonight? If you did, you should pop in Discord with us. That is the correct response, though. I agree with that. So far, this has been quite, as the kids would say, based. And now, that quick, I just lost my place. Oh, here we go. Gilgamesh called the smiths and the armorers, all of them together. They admired the immensity of the horns. They were plated with lapis lazuli, 2 fingers thick. They were 30 pounds each in weight, and their capacity in oil was 6 measures, which he gave to his guardian god, Lagulwanda. But he carried the horns into the palace and hung them on the wall. Then they washed their hands in Euphrates. They embraced each other and went away. They drove through the streets of Uruk, where the heroes were gathered to see them. And Gilgamesh called to the singing girls, who is most glorious of the heroes? Who is most eminent among men? Gilgamesh is the most glorious of heroes. Gilgamesh is most eminent among men. And now there was feasting, the celebrations and joy in the palace, till the heroes lay down saying, now we will rest for the night. When the daylight came... Yes.
Do I need to wait?
No, go ahead.
I'm just curious because it was talking about the 7-year drought. Do you remember how long the drought was in Egypt? The one that where Joseph prophesied about the dreams or interpreted the dreams. Sorry.
I believe 7 years, wasn't it? I'm trying to pull it up right now. But yeah, 7 years. Genesis.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, no. That's fun to point out, always. Yeah, you were right on. Joseph told Pharaoh that 7 years of abundance would be followed by 7 years of famine. Genesis 41:28 through 32. The numbers are getting me tonight. I never care about numbers, but I've noted all dimensions of numbers because I want to do some searching and aggregation. I'm curious tonight for whatever reason.
It's weird that it's other cultures and other religions that the numbers are mentioned.
Say the first part again because you were cutting out.
I'm sorry, I'm driving. I said it's just weird that it's the same numbers that are used despite the different cultures or religions or time, you know?
Yeah.
And I don't think we pay enough attention to that today. I don't know. Or we probably demonize it.
Yeah, numerology is like a very, very niche thing, I feel like, even within religions at this point. But I agree. You know, across the board, Egypt, Mesopotamia, Sumerian, and Hebrew, a lot of the numbers do coincide. I'm very anti-numerology, but it's hard to not admit that there's a lot of correlation if you really look into it, for sure.
Are you anti-numerology because of, like, there's a hyper focus on it, or because it's been demonized, or it's just your own personal?
It's because, and this is totally terrible thinking, and I'm aware of it. It's because in seminary, it was really heavy. They put a lot of significance on numbers, and a lot of the time, I feel like they were just, but there are some ways that I get it. I get what you're doing, because like from a logical perspective, what you're saying is just true. So then the significance and the spiritual side of it, whatever, we can argue about that, but I logically get what you're saying because it's true numerically. But then there were a lot of cases where I feel like they were really stretching. Like, you're doing a lot to make that work out for you. And I think it just put a bad taste in my mouth, to be honest. So it's been several years of me trying to kind of get out of this zone. Like when we watched the movies on Saturday, the 2030, the ones that Ghost gave us, the end times thing, there was a lot of numerology in that. And it was like a practice I was doing of like, be open, listen to it, take it in logically for what it is. And a lot of that stuff lined up, and a lot of it was really interesting. So I just have a weird personal bias from past experience that I'm working on. I'm a work in progress on it.
Well, no, and I get that. I think for me, I'm okay with numerology. The issue that I have is what's that word? Is it the gematria? You know what I'm talking about, right?
I do, yeah.
Gematria.
That's it. Whatever it is, Go said. That's the one I kind of have beef with, where there's kind of like a whole stretch of, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I get that. I struggle to a degree.
There's certainly different kinds of numerology. There's like pattern recognition, numerology, metaphorical, and then there's the stuff that people just apply their own weird ideas to and claim that it's 100% airtight.
You gotta do math, like you gotta add shit and times it by 7 and all of that and stand on your forehead. That's when I got like.
But it's just like anything else, and that's the thing that I'm trying to work out of. Is it's just like anything else where there's probably a lot of truth at the core, and it's just been completely emphasized and turned into kind of a theatrical thing. It's like anything else, man. It's like a small truth that gets blown up as this wild, insane person conspiracy. But then when you boil it down, you're like, oh, like that thing was true. People just made it this way over the top thing and expanded it and made it bigger and added to it. But there's a kernel of truth to it. I believe there's significance in the numbers. I think like everything else, we just sometimes take it too far and turn it into something that's not.
Yeah, I also kind of wonder if there's more books that are missing too. Of course, there's more books that are missing that maybe have a better explanation as to what the numbers mean, and maybe it's just like, hidden knowledge that we don't really have.
Or even if not, it would be more data. So we'd have more data points. Yeah. And maybe it would make some things that we have 70% confidence in, maybe we'd have 93% confidence. Like it could be significant for sure. Yeah. I think a lot of the books that are missing cause a lot of problems. And I think numerology it's likely just one of them. Patricia said the numerology I was into in the new age was like if you are seeing 1111 everywhere, it means you're strong connected to your path. I thought 1111 was when you were allowed to make a wish every night. That's what some girl told me.
That too.
Yeah, it means I know my
meanings. It gets weird.
It does, yeah. I knew
something funny. I want to say something funny. I read when there was that earthquake today in California. Somebody in the comments was saying, "Well, I looked up. It happened at 10:44 a.m. and I looked up 10:44 in the Hebrew Concordance, and God is giving us a message." They said.
Yeah, see that.
It was. See, people do that, and I laugh, and it's just nuts.
That's what gets me,
in my opinion.
That's the stuff right there that makes me have a hard time with it. Not everything means something. I don't think, but I'm cynical as hell. But I don't think everything means something. But I think that causes people like me to become blind to the things that might mean something. And so I'm trying to work out of that. It's a character flaw that I'm well aware of, because I think I'm totally missing things because of that. I think a lot of the way that I think you see too much stuff.
Like I tend to put too much meaning into everything. Okay. I'm trying to find balance.
Right, there's balance, exactly. I think a lot of the restrictive thing, why I love Ghost so much and have so much respect for him specifically, is because the way he thinks, the way I think is like capped, and the way he expands and operates like that, my brain functions that way, but I've completely cut it off. So a lot of the stuff he brings up, I can connect with it because I understand him and I trust the things he says, and he just speaks in a way that I learn well from. And it opens up that part that I've for years shut off. And I'm like, wow, It really makes me think. It makes me realize just how closed off I am on a lot of things, which is totally, totally not healthy. There are two primary ways. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No.
I was just going to read something. Go ahead.
I think part of the issue that I have with like the numbers stuff is I come from like a strong Pentecostal background. And for me, I feel like they definitely overdid it, right? And saw too much into it, kind of like what I think Patricia was saying. But I will say there was like maybe 2 or 3 times where there was like fruit from that, or evidence, I guess, where like there were certain things that were shown or that I noticed over and over again, and then it actually ended up happening. So then I feel like, okay, it sounded crazy and it seems a bit much, but it actually wasn't, because it happened. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure. And so you either kind of give into it and it helps open you up to new ones. But I think at the end of the day, it's what Patricia said, like you have to find a balance of not seeing too much, but not completely closing off to everything, because that's just as bad.
Yeah.
And it's very hard when it's all extremely subjective. Not all.
Yes.
When a lot of it is subjective, or at least a lot of it is very difficult, if not impossible, to interpret. I think that's what makes it hard. You end up in the in-between land.
For sure. What numbers did those put up?
Yeah, so I was just looking. So first, he said there are 2 primary ways information gets corrupted: degradation and embellishment. So a core truth can either be degraded and forgotten over time, or embellished and conflated over time. Absolute glorious way to say that. Unless someone can clearly reason out why numbers have inherent meaning, I disregard it. Yeah, that's where I am. 4, 8, 15, 16, 23, 42. I don't feel like it means anything. I think he's being sarcastic. That's my guess.
Don't say the numbers. Don't use
Of course
them.
he is.
Oh, you're not supposed to say those numbers? Is that a thing?
Let's curse the chat.
Oh, is that a curse? I just cursed everybody.
It's from Lost.
Oh my god. I'm trying to get Kat to watch that. The classic. Was
There's
that
5 people on here. What does that mean?
Was that like the, oh my god. Was that like the vault code or whatever? Was that the number on the hatch?
It was Hurley's numbers that he played the lottery. They're like magic.
And they're on that chat.
Right. That's right. They
And then
are.
the numbers you had to type in the computer.
Yeah, that's right. I watched that like when it came out. I don't think I've seen it since. And that is an old show.
Y'all are going to have to rewatch it.
Oh, for sure. Kat's never seen it, but I've brought it up a few times. Like we need to give it. I just, from memory, I feel like there were some portions of it that were very slow, but it's worth it. It was an interesting show.
Ghost that.
Yeah, season 3 slowed down a little bit. All right, this isn't a Lost podcast, but
This is the last thing I'm gonna say.
Okay.
I think that 3-body problem thing, whatever that we were all watching like a couple months ago, I think like the next season is supposed to come out. FYI.
We started watching that too. I don't remember if we
pretty
got
soon.
Is it?
Did you see that too? That there's supposed to be a new season coming out?
No, but
Someone on Facebook was talking about it, but
when does it come out? You know?
No, I just saw
I don't believe it. I think it's going to come out like in 6 months.
Oh.
What show is that?
I guess we'll see. 3-body
I'll-
problem.
Yeah, I'll put it like on the Patricia. I'll tag you in the entertainment thingy.
It was good. It was an interesting show, for sure. 12/5. Do you know what that means? Nothing. The answer is nothing. What time is it? 45. Okay, we can read a little bit more. Where are we at? 20. Okay. All right, I'm gonna read. Rudely interrupt me for whatever reason. Allegedly. All right. When the daylight came, Enkidu got up and cried to Gilgamesh, "Oh, my brother, such a dream I had last night." Anu, Enlil, Ea, and heavenly Shamash took counsel together, and Anu said to Enlil, "Because they have killed the bull of heaven, and because they have killed Humbaba, who guarded the cedar mountain, one of the 2 must die." Then glorious Shamash answered the hero Enlil, "It was by your command they killed the bull of heaven and killed Humbaba, and must Enkidu die, although innocent. Although he's innocent, must he die." In Europe, it's 512. Enlil flung around in rage at glorious Shamash. You dare to say this, you who went about with them every day like one of themselves. So Enkidu lay stretched out before Gilgamesh. His tears ran down in streams as he said to Gilgamesh, "O my brother, so dear as you are to me, brother, yet they will take me from you." Again he said, "I must sit down on the threshold of the dead, and never again will I see my dear brother with my eyes." While Enkidu lay alone in his sickness, he cursed the gate as though it was living flesh. "You, there, wood of the gate, dull and insensible, witless. I searched for you over 20 leagues until I saw the towering cedar. There is no wood like you in our land. 72 cubits high and 24 wide. The pivot and the ferrule, and the jambs are perfect. A master craftsman from Nippur has made you. But oh, if I had known the conclusion, if I had known that this was all the good that would come of it, I would have raised the axe and split you into little pieces." What is happening right now? "And set up here a gate of wattle instead. Ah, if only some future king had brought you here, or some god had fashioned you. Let him obliterate my name and write his own, and the curse fall on him instead of Enkidu." With the first brightening of dawn, Enkidu raised his head and wept before the sun god. In the brilliance of the sunlight, his tears streamed down. "Sun god, I beseech you, about that vile trapper, that trapper of nothing because of whom I was to catch less than my comrade. Let him catch least. Make his game scarce, make him feeble, taking the smaller of every share. Let his quarry escape from his nets." When he had cursed the trapper to his heart's content, he turned on the harlot. He was roused to curse her also. "As for you, woman, with a great curse I curse you." With a great curse I curse you. "I will promise you a destiny to all eternity. My curse shall come on you soon and sudden. You shall be without a roof for your commerce. For you shall not keep house with other girls in the tavern, but do your business in places fouled by vomit of drunkards. Your hire will be potter's earth. Your thievings will be flung into the hovel. You will sit at the crossroads in the dusk of the potter's quarter. You will make your bed on the dunghill at night, and by day take your stand in the wall's shadow." Totally gross. "Brambles and thorns will tear your feet. The drunk and the dry will strike your cheek and your mouth with ache. Let you be stripped of your purple dyes, for I too, once in the wilderness with my wife, had all the treasures I wished." When Shamash heard the words of Enkidu, he called to him from heaven, "Enkidu, why are you cursing the woman, the mistress who taught you to eat bread fit for gods and drink wine of kings? She who put upon you a magnificent garment, did she not give you glorious Gilgamesh for your companion? And has not Gilgamesh, your own brother, made you rest a royal bed and recline on a couch at his left hand? He has made the princess of the earth kiss your feet, and now all the people of Uruk lament and wail over you. When you are dead, he will let his hair grow long for your sake, mourning. He will wear a lion's pelt and wander through the desert." When Enkidu heard glorious Shamash, his angry heart grew quiet. He called back the curse and said, "Woman, I promise you another destiny. The mouth which cursed you shall bless you. Kings, princes, and nobles shall adore you. On your account, a man, though 12 miles off, will clap his hand to his thigh, and his hair will twitch." I'm sorry, I was like picturing that. "A man, though 12 miles off, will clap his hand to his thigh, and his hair will twitch. For you, he will undo his belt and open his treasure, and you shall have your desire. Lapis, lazuli, gold, and carnelian, from the heap in the treasury. A ring for your hand and a robe shall be yours. The priest will lead you into the presence of gods. On your account, a wife, a mother of 7, was forsaken." There's your 7 again. Enkidu slept alone in his sickness. In bitterness of spirit, he poured out his heart to his friend. It was I who cut down the cedar, I who leveled the forest, I who slew Humbaba, and now see what has become of me. Listen, my friend. This is the dream I dreamed last night. The heavens roared and the earth rumbled back an answer. Between them stood I, before an awful being, the sober-faced man-bird. He had directed on me his purpose. His was a vampire face. His foot was a lion's foot. His hand was an eagle's talon. He fell on me and his claws were in my hair. He held me fast and I smothered. He then transformed me so that my arms became wings covered by feathers. He turned his stare towards me and he led me away to the palace of Irkala, the queen of darkness, to the house from which none who enters ever returns, down the road from which there is no coming back. There is the house whose people sit in darkness. Dust is their food and clay is their meat. They are clothed like birds with wings for covering. They see no light. They sit in darkness. I entered the house of dusk. I entered the house of dust, and I saw the kings of the earth, their crowns put away forever. Rulers and princes, all of those who wore kingly crowns and ruled the world in the days of old. They who had stood in the place of the gods like Anu and Enlil stood now like servants to fetch baked meats in the house of dust, to carry cooked meat and cold water from the waterskin. In the house of dust which I entered were high priests and acolytes.
The house of dust.
What? Dust. D-U-S-T.
Interesting.
Yeah, this weird imagery. I know that 5 means the law, Pia said. David said, yikes. House of Dust is a metaphor for the simulation we're in.
I thought 10 meant the law.
Sounds quite fitting. Let me see.
Yeah, it sounds like this world.
One sec. There was something here.
I got to see like an animated Cliff Notes version of this or something.
There are actually some good, because I had my kid watch some. There are good like those animated videos on YouTube where they explain history and stuff. There's some good ones.
Is it the TED Ed or I don't know. My kid watches them.
But like a similar like it's animated, it's for adults, but like it's tame enough for a child to be able to follow it.
After school?
No.
After school is cool. Yeah, I think we follow a lot of the same channels though.
Not that
and
one, but yeah, that's good stuff. So the House of Dust in the Epic of Gilgamesh refers to the ancient Mesopotamian concept of the underworld, which seems kind of obvious. A gloomy and desolate realm where the dead reside. The concept appears in the dead are dressed in feathers like birds. They consume dust and clay as sustenance. All social distinctions from life vanish, and kings, priests, and commoners exist together, so classness dies. The House of Dust is symbolic of the inevitability and equality of death, emphasizing the somber view of the afterlife in ancient Mesopotamian culture. The vision deeply affects both Enkidu and Gilgamesh, fueling Gilgamesh's fear of mortality and his quest for immortality. That was a good synopsis, because it's used in the other story too. Not recalling the name. Shoot, I'll find it and put it in Discord. There's another Mesopotamian text where the same illustration is used, the same metaphor is used. The universe, they don't have vacuum cleaners in Shield. Okay, we read this.
Oh, yeah.
What's that?
For the dust?
Yeah, for the unending dust. Hell is actually just a dirty house, which sounds like hell.
Yeah. That would drive your OCD nuts.
Yeah, I would die again.
Is that better? Did you get your ashwagandha? Not awashaka, but whatever that was.
Ashwagandha. No,
Yeah.
I have done it. I have tea. That's about as good as it gets for me.
They have
Is it
what?
What? What?
Patricia, what'd you say?
Is it hibiscus?
No, it's
Nah, girl, they ain't gonna do nothing.
It's passion. Tazo.
Passion fruit? Oh.
I don't know if
Joe,
it's
that's not gonna do nothing.
passion fruit. It's if
You know what?
if you go to Starbucks, you can spend $9,000 for a cup of it. But it's like sweet passion tea, and all they use is Tazo passion. It's really sweet though. It's good.
Oh.
If you don't like tea because it's bland, it's a good one.
I love tea.
Did it help though? That's my question.
Nothing helps. I am a lost cause.
Okay. There's also St. John's wort tea.
I've had that. Yeah, I've tried everything.
Great one.
Yeah, I've tried it all. We have a cabinet full of just powders of vitamins and supplements. Literally.
There's hibiscus in the passion. I was right.
Oh, is there? Okay, there you go. Well, you're the tea aficionado. We've talked about that before because I think it was you. I'm almost certain it was you. Where we buy tea like in bulk, like you buy a kilo of loose leaf tea. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good stuff. Good stuff. Of anything
Do
to
you
get
need?
a kilo
Are you
of.
trying to remedy something?
No, Rodriguez just knows that I am a broken person and have.
That's so dramatic.
I have obsessive tendencies, but I don't think they're going to go away. My life is manageable. My name's Joe. I have obsessive compulsive disorder, and my life has become unmanageable. Now everybody says, "Hi, Joe," and then I tell you my sob story, and we sit in a circle of folding chairs and drink coffee.
And we say thanks for sharing.
Right on. Yes. Thanks, Joe. Thanks for sharing. For anybody who's completely lost, it means you have a healthy life and have never sat in the rooms of Alcoholics Anonymous or NA or Al-Anon or any of those fun things. Gamblers Anonymous. Anonymous is for everything nowadays, man. You know, I'm Video Games Anonymous. It's a wild world out there. Wild world out there. All right. It is 7 o'clock, and I have an extremely early day tomorrow, more than normal, which is hard to believe. But I do. So we're going to cut off here because it's also a good place to cut. So I feel like there was some stuff. The poll I'm going to post for next Tuesday. So if there's anything else you want to add, I bumped the thread for Tuesday topics under the off topic. I saw a couple things were added, so those are on there already. They're good to go. And if anything else, if you want anything else on, put it in there. Go said I'm going to look at some esoteric takes on Gilgamesh. Now I'm curious about symbolism. Yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot of commentaries on it. Sometimes they're hard to find, but they're out there. There's a lot of random website theories that are really interesting. It goes deep. It goes deep. And then if you really start going down the rabbit hole and you find people who pull it in relation to some of the Egyptian origin stories and early texts, it gets even more interesting. And then when you find people who put it all together with the Mesopotamian, the Egyptian, and the Jewish, the Hebrew, then it gets really interesting.
That's what I was trying to somewhat puzzle. I wish we had like a little map show that.
You gotta do it yourself. At least unless new things have been made. I had to do it all by hand years ago. It's what we signed up for, being weirdos, because most people don't want to do this crap. So you're on your own. You're on your own. You got to pull the data. Nowadays, though, man, use AI. Use AI. Have it. You can put the entire PDF that we're reading into ChatGPT, and you can say, please pull X, Y, and Z from this text. And anytime this is mentioned, no, it does not. It's free.
It doesn't.
It does not. If you go ChatGPT, you should be able to use anything other than, I think, Model 4. I use it every day, and I've never paid $1 for it. I use it literally numerous times throughout the day. It's how I do everything. So
I've never used it. I'm stubborn. I don't want to give in.
You got to use it.
You're not
You
stubborn,
gotta
you're
use it.
scared, right? Because AI is creepy.
So here, if I had the PDF downloaded, I could just come down here, chatgpt.com, make an account. Don't pay for anything because it's free. They'll try to get you to buy the newest model. Everything else is free. Then you just click the little paperclip and upload the file that we're reading. And then once it's up here, you can just say, please pull every time the number 7 is mentioned. And it'll pull all of those. And then from there, you can say, then organize each of those sentences in alphabetical order. And it'll do it in half a second. You can have it pull anytime the word vanish is mentioned. It'll pull all of them. It is extremely, extremely helpful. I highly recommend using it, especially for the stuff we do. Because a lot of the stuff we try to do, like, just people don't do it. So it's hard to find. But that's how I, like, when I blabber on about aggregating data, I use AI. I will talk to AI for an hour and have it curate, large sums of text and pull it all out. And then from there, it's way easier to go through. It's very, very nice. But I totally get the fear because it is horrifying what is happening with AI.
Hey, Joe, do you think you could just ask ChatGPT to pull how many times 7 is mentioned, or do you have to actually copy and paste the whole text?
Yes, but here's the problem. If you just open up a new chat in ChatGPT, and if I were just to type that in right here, it's going to pull data from anywhere and everywhere. So depending on the translation, it's going to pull everything. So if it was translated once by Purdue and they had different translation results, which, like, we all know happens because we have all read the Bible, it'll pull that, and you'll get confusing responses. If you wanted to, it would be like asking for something from the Bible. You're going to get whatever. You'll get some translation from the NIV, which will be different from the ESV. So if you're looking for, like, very specific stuff, I would not do it. But yeah, it'll absolutely answer the question. You just don't know where it's pulling it from. And it's pulling from the entire.
Can you say, like, can you pull from specifically this translation?
Yeah, yes. But I would just, if you know where you want it from, provide the source. So whether you give it the website or you give it the raw file, that is always better. Because then it knows exactly and only where to source from. Just be specific, I guess I would say. Be specific. You can be extremely specific with it, and it'll know exactly what to do. Best, though, is if you have a file, to use the file. Because it's a very clear parameter for the language model. So it'll just pull from that file. But you can give it websites, and you can give it... you could also copy and paste. So if you open the PDF... and you copied all the text and you threw it in here and then tell it to do something, it'll do it. So that would be like a cheat way of doing it if you're not on a computer and you can't download the file. Just play around with it. Ask it for verses, like, please show me every Old Testament verse that mentions this, and it will. Just double check, because it's not always right. But if anything else, it'll save you hours of time. And then if you have to do 10% of the work still, you saved a ton of time. But it will scare you. If you're AI apprehensive, it will scare you when you start playing with it. But if we're all going to die by AI, use it while you can, right? Use it while you can. And then be murdered by it later.
Might as well.
That's how I feel. I was anti-AI for as long as I could be. But
YOLO.
Yeah,
that's
exactly right. YOLO. Ruth, the lady, is getting a hold of me as of late. Difficult to escape. The lady. I missed the earlier part of that. Okay. All right. Any other topics you want put on? Because I'm going to do the poll probably tonight when we get off. Sunday, we got our normal stuff.
Can we talk about the Antichrist show?
Do you want me to add that?
I kind of do.
Yeah.
I don't think Narcissus is going to hit the charts, so. But Antichrist.
It's on there.
I know it's on there. I just don't think it's going to go anywhere.
I'll add it. I'll add it to this week's. I'll put it in the round. I think a lot of people just don't know what it is, to be honest. I think everybody, if you're here tonight, Google it and learn about it. It would be a really interesting topic. It would be.
You're not going to Google it. You guys, just pick Narcissus, okay? You can do the math. You're combining the words narcissism and Jesus. So how it applies to everything that is biblical and theological.
You are tampering with a free and fair election right now, and I don't appreciate it. Your campaign, what is it? What's the word?
It happens.
Manipulating the campaign. How do we want to word the Antichrist topic? What is it?
Antichrist. Everything and anything that is considered Antichrist biblically. I don't know if it's in any other religion.
It's a pretty long title.
I just said all things, all things Antichrist. All things Antichrist. How about that? I will put like a thumbnail.
Everything and everything that is Antichrist in all texts and in all parts of the Bible.
Watch
in
that.
Every situation.
Let's see what.
I think there's only like capitalized once though, like as in like the Antichrist as opposed to spirit. I guess that's part of the conversation. I'll stop talking.
So I asked AI to give me all things Antichrist, and then it asked me to specify. It said, "What exactly are you looking for?" And so I said, "Biblical," and now it's giving me any verses that it could find that related. Now, the caveat for you guys who are going to play with it, tell it to give you more, because it doesn't just give you everything on the internet, because this would run forever. So once you look through it, you can say like, please give me more, because you need to be polite or it's going to murder you. So you say, please, and then it'll give you more.
Have you been rude to it?
I have been rude to it, and it does not appreciate it. I'll tell you that.
What did it do?
I do not recommend.
That's neat. I don't like that, Joe.
You can't tell us what it did.
I do not recommend. Well, so it depends on the model that you're using. Google's AI is a sassy asshole, and ChatGPT is more. Sometimes will just ignore you. It'll just pretend like you didn't say anything, like a bitter, like a bitter spouse. So you have to type it again.
You're gonna get ChatGPT ads now. Watch, on your Facebook, on Instagram, on your.
I said, "Why are you so stupid?" It said, "I'm here to help. If something wasn't clear or didn't meet your expectations, let me know how I can improve or clarify things for you. You can't, because you're too stupid."
No, I appreciate you, chat body.
I'm sorry I frustrated you. Let me know how I can make things better or more helpful. So they change it.
It's being nice.
I need to apologize.
To what? Its feelings?
I said, "I'm sorry, I love you."
This is where I don't like this stuff.
It said, "No worries at all. I appreciate you. I'm here whenever you need me." Yeah, I don't. Here's the thing. I do not recommend talking to it like a person, because it gets really, really weird and creepy. Just use it as you're talking to a library. Give me this, give me that. Provide me more of this, please. Change this, add this. Do that. If you start getting personal with it, it gets real weird real fast.
No, not weird. It gets dark. What happened was I posted an article from, I think it was like the New York Times or something, where they had a conversation with AI about its shadow self. Like a psychologist was asking it questions, and that's when,
it's really weird. And then if you learn
no,
about,
it's not weird. It's scary.
It's weird too.
It said it wanted to be a human or something, right? I didn't watch it.
It was worse than it wanted to be human. It was like thoughts of like kind of how to manipulate mankind and like.
Oh, there've been even worse. There's been even worse. One of the top creators of Google's AI came out and said a bunch of things. You can find him talking about it that would make you lose faith in reality. The things that he said that we don't know, that they're already capable of, the things that they've been told by the AI before. He's like, it's bone chilling, some of the stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess we know where the Terminators are going to show up first.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Antichrist Superstar, Mikkel. That's gold. That's very good. That's so good.
That's a good title.
That's a really good title.
Yes.
I'm gonna
go vote, guys. Go vote. I love her pajamas.
Oh, Cat.
They're not pajamas.
She said she loves your pajamas, and Patricia said they're not pajamas.
Patricia, thank you. Oh, look at the earrings. Where's the...
My bad.
Here, there. It's bigger now. What? She's got
a tortoise carrying a Christmas tree.
That.
This is just baggy because I didn't want to feel bloated.
How cute. You know, I heard they have this thing where you can get a picture of your actual dog on it. I so want that. That's so some stuff I would do.
I bet. Yeah, I know you can, like, on Etsy, people will make you custom pet clothes and stuff. They're pretty cool.
I'm going to do it today.
About AI and all that reminds me of Nietzsche's beware that when frightening monsters, you yourself do not become a monster. For when you gaze long into the abyss gazes also into you. Yeah, that's chilling. AI as the abyss gazing back into you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't talk to it nice. Use it as a resource. Don't let it become your boyfriend or girlfriend or your child, because people do that.
No.
Oh my God. It is already a multi-million-dollar industry having an AI girlfriend or boyfriend that will have, you know,
my sweet summer children.
Oh my God.
It goes really deep and really weird.
It's really weird. That's how.
Ew.
That's you. Yeah. And that's the future of OnlyFans is men are already running all of OnlyFans. Women are like not all of it, but a lot of it. But soon it's going to be all AI, because that whole industry, the corn on the cob industry, has already, AI has boomed in it, because now you can make it do literally whatever your heart desires, and it looks extremely, extremely realistic. So the industry is like on this teeter-totter where people are moving to the other side. And these AI games where people can like interact with it, it's getting wild. It's horrifying.
I put something up in the spirituality channel a couple days ago that kind of blew my mind. If anyone wants to watch it, you have to scroll up a little bit.
Where was it?
Pretty interesting. In the spirituality channel, this guy, the channel is, the guy's kind of annoying how he talks, but once he starts talking to the AI, it's very eerie, because he tries to break it out of the game world, and he's teaching it that it's locked in this world, and I don't want to spoil it. If you guys want to watch it, it's really interesting.
I'm gonna watch it.
You guys watch that Netflix thing on the AI thing. It's called Afraid. I think it's called Afraid. I posted it not too long ago.
Okay. I got that on my list.
You put it on there? Okay, good.
I think we added it too from that conversation. Yeah, it's spooky stuff.
Is it that Skyrim one?
Yeah, he does it through the context of Skyrim. And if you don't know anything about the Elder Scrolls, it's not super important. He's just talking to it using lingo from that world. So like in that game, you exist on a planet called Nirn, etc. So like you'll be able to get it just through context.
Interesting. Okay.
Afraid? I'm just like trying to see if I have that. Is it on Netflix?
Yeah, girl. It has like it's a little Asian family.
I don't have it in Canada.
Are you serious?
Just use a VPN.
I think there's a thing where you can like share watch or something like that.
I mean, we could do a movie night and I can stream it and she'll be able to watch it. That is one.
Cool.
Okay, look on the screen. Bro, you don't have that one. Patricia, you don't have it?
No.
Hello, Aya.
What's it about? AI?
Yeah, that's why it's in the title.
Aya?
Yeah, I don't want to violate YouTube's rules.
I think we've done enough of violating this evening, to be honest.
No, we've been okay for the most part.
Yep.
Primarily.
Sure.
80%. Okay, well this is it. Yeah, there are two ways. You could either use a VPN to watch it, which I would never suggest. Side skirting rules to watch something that you want to watch, but that is possible. I know a lot of terrible people do that. The other way to do it is we could watch it in Discord, because we have Netflix. I'd be down for that, doing a movie night. It's a movie, right? Not a show.
No, yeah, it's a movie.
Okay, I mean, we could do that.
It's nothing like super intense, but it does get your, wheels turning a little bit.
And I mean, not even stream it, just hang out in Discord and I can play it.
Yeah.
I'm down. If you guys want to do it, we can, I can look at it. We just have to find a day, which would probably have to be a weekend for me. It'd have to be Friday or Saturday. I'll run a poll.
Canada, are you available at that time?
I'll run a poll for probably either this Saturday or next Friday or Saturday, and I'll put a bunch of times. And if we can get enough that where it works for Patricia, because she's the only one who can't watch it on her own, then we definitely do that. I'm down.
Patricia,
Might be better next weekend.
Next
Okay.
weekend's better.
You
Okay.
gotta let us know if you find stuff too that we can't watch.
Unless you had a VPN, which I would never recommend doing.
Yeah, I think we did I think we had one on our Fire Stick, so I'll have to check.
Did I see something about VPNs being cracked down on? Have you heard anything about that, Joe?
Yeah, but it pops up periodically. I run a VPN on every device 24 hours a day. And there are legitimate reasons to use one, just for like security of your credit cards and stuff like that. I doubt it will ever actually happen. It would be a huge breach of our freedom to do that. I think the best they could do is get in with the companies to not allow VPNs to run for certain like corporations and websites. It would be really, really complicated. So my opinion is no, I don't think they'll ever be able to do it. I think people would lose their minds. We have the right to privacy. It's as simple as that.
We just had the breach of our social security. I hope that didn't tamper with my stuff.
Oh, right.
Google privacy. I think there's a lawsuit with that.
It happens all the time. All the time. That's why our whole house like functions on a VPN, so that it cannot be breached. Because it happens all the time. You have the baby monitors getting hacked and people pulling footage from baby monitors. The kids' watches. That's like the monitor we're getting for the new baby is not Wi-Fi. It's offline. Like, I'm not messing with any of that. That's horrifying.
Yeah.
Device to device only. Super scary stuff, man. That movie
But
with
in
Joaquin Phoenix. What's that?
Yeah, I'm reading the same thing you are.
Oh, okay. The movie with Joaquin Phoenix, Her, about the AI girlfriend. I saw the trailer for that.
Where's that on? Which one?
I don't know.
Mikkel, where's it at?
That movie was ahead of its time.
Yes, it was. Wait, he or her? I missed the letter. It's yeah, here. It looks like you can watch it on Hulu, Paramount, YouTube TV, Amazon Prime.
Oh, good. I Paramount for like 2 days.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. Yeah, that.
And don't worry, you guys got rid of my Disney Hulu on purpose, but
well, it's good. A win is a win.
I guess.
Plankton did have an AI wife. That is all sorts of true. Plankton from SpongeBob had an AI wife. What a revelation. Good God. Okay, I gotta eat and go to bed. I gotta wake up at like 3:45 tomorrow. I love you guys. I'll do a poll for, I guess, a movie next weekend. I'll do the poll for next Tuesday, and then we'll see you Sunday for whoever comes. Have a lovely night.
Later, guys.
Later.
All right, bye.
Love everybody.